So this was a long time coming. I've been out for a year, and I feel like it has not registered the way it should after over a year. It's been over a year. It was last May. May 15th, I think. So now it's June of this year, and a lot of people still aren't taking it seriously. So not only is this just an affirmation of the truth that isn't going to change, but it's also kind of just a call and a kind of just begging to have those people get over themselves, because this is who I am and it's not going to change. As far as coming out as trans, it started as I wanted it. I mean, you know, when I came out as somebody who likes girls, there was never really that moment of, oh, hey, I like girls, by the way. No, when I came out as, like, bisexual at the time, there was never really a moment of, oh, hey, I'm bisexual, I like girls. It just happened, because my mom found out, and she asked me, and I had to say yes. And then everybody else in school, all my friends just started finding out through rumors and fun stuff like that. But as far as coming out as trans, I guess that started out more of how I wanted it to be. Came out a little bit on, like, the internet, which didn't really count because I didn't know any of those people. The first person I actually came out to that meant something to me was who's my now fiance, and she took it super simple right away. Like, I was basically just telling her what my favorite food is. So that was really easy and made me more confident about how this whole process would go. But as far as telling anybody in my family, the first person I told was my mom, of course. And I mean, obviously it was a shock, and there was that kind of, I think, feeling of what now, which is kind of how I felt too at the time. Because I mean, of course, I knew technically what the next step was, you know, coming out to everybody else and taking testosterone and lots of research on surgeries and all that stuff. But as far as all the little details in between of how I was going to live my life now, that was a little more confusing and difficult. I've said before that my childhood and everything that came before transitioning was a thought in my head that's kind of just all dissociated memories. It's thinking about it, watching old videos, looking at old pictures. It feels like somebody else. 100% feels like somebody else. It's like writing a book and suddenly deciding that it's not working the way I'm writing it. Like, it's totally, like, shit. Like, nobody's gonna fucking read this. And throwing it all away and rewriting everything. And that first draft is there in my head. I mean, I have the memories of it, but it's like, no, there's no point in thinking about it. It's just done. Like, it's not a thing anymore. And I know that that's kind of a shitty way to think about it, for, like, my family that went through those memories with me. And of course, I don't want to throw away those memories altogether because they were good memories. But when I think about them now, it's like sticking myself, how I think of myself now, into those memories. I don't see a little girl. I don't see Annalisa anymore, and saying that name, this just leaves a bad taste on my tongue. So hearing it come from people that I care about is just gut-wrenching, and it breaks my heart every time. Every single time. I've worked really hard this past year to get rid of everything I used to be. I work hard every day to be seen as who I want to be. It just starts all over again every day. I mean, I wake up and I look down and there's a body there that's not mine. I feel a very big disconnect from this, from my breasts. It's a huge disconnect. Like, they're just there, and they're annoying, and I fucking hate them, and I wish I could just cut them off myself most days. So definitely getting top surgery. Needless to say, definitely want that as soon as possible. Like, I'd get it tomorrow if I could. I wish I could have gotten it like months ago, but of course, it's expensive. Can't do that right now, unfortunately. It's very expensive to do any of this. I can't just snap my fingers and grow a beard and get broader shoulders and lose my chest and fix what's between my legs. I also will never ever be able to get my wife pregnant. I will never be able to do a lot of things that physically a cisgender man would. And a lot of that is really hard for me because I want to be a dad. For a while, I didn't want kids because kids are crazy. I worked at a place that had kids there all the time, and I was like, fuck this. This will never be me. And then I fell in love with an incredible woman and thought about having a kid with her and having her as my partner through that. And now, I mean, other than my transition, wanting to be a dad is probably the thing I want most in the entire world. But unfortunately, I can't just do that either. I have to get a guy who was born with the right parts and use his stuff for that, which is insanely expensive and it's difficult all around. I work at a job where I have to deal with people all day long, and for me to answer the phone and get a sir instead of a ma'am is shocking. It used to throw me off when I would get a ma'am over the phone, but now it throws me off when I get a sir, and it shouldn't be that way. People will fully call me ma'am to my face, and that really throws me off. And sometimes, once I start talking to them, they'll correct themselves. They won't apologize or anything, which I can't expect that much, but they'll correct themselves. And then sometimes they don't. sometimes they just don't get it. And that's when it kind of clicks in my head and, like, I still look like a girl. Sometimes I still don't pass. And passing is something I work really hard for every day. So for it to just all be for nothing. So anyway, point of this video is I just want to be recognized as who I am. I mean, I'm Andy. I'm either Andy or Andrew, not Annalisa. Thankfully, a lot of people in my life recognize me that way. My immediate family does, my fiance does, my friends at work do. Thankfully, I work in a place that's very accepting, and I'm very lucky for that. But there's a lot of people that I'm close to that don't. And it sucks, because I just don't want to live the rest of my life, you know, disconnected from these people that I used to have such a good relationship with. It's also Pride Month. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of where I've gotten to so far, how far I've come. I mean, you know, the word transgender was brought to my attention when I was 14. Before that, I didn't really know that was a thing. And since then, I questioned whether that was me. People I was really close to and could kind of see the more masculine side of me questioned if that was me too, and that set it off even more. And then I think one day it just really clicked. One day I thought of myself in the future as a woman, and then I thought of myself in the future as a man. And the latter was so much more appealing and so much more appropriate. To think of myself in the future as a woman is to think of myself as eternally depressed and always unhappy with myself. I know that you grew up with me being Annalisa, being, you know, just a sweet girl, but it's not who I am anymore. And in some ways, it was never who I was. And if I had known about, you know, the possibility of being transgender sooner, this probably would have come out a lot sooner. Yeah, sending love to you guys who have accepted me. Thank you. You've made this a lot easier. And for those of you who haven't, I hope you can come to terms with it someday, because soon I'm just not gonna push through it anymore. I'm not gonna be the bigger person anymore because I've done that for long enough, hoping that you'll catch on. Yep. So to end on a more happy note, happy Pride. I'm a transgender pansexual male with a wonderful fiance. And for anyone who hasn't come out yet, I wish you good luck. If you need somebody to talk to, or a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to just give you a kick in the ass of confidence, I'll definitely talk to anybody willing. Happy Pride. I hope you guys have a good rest of your month and a good rest of your year. Yeah.